Welcome to the B2T Show, where we empower Christian patriots with truth. This is Rick, your host. And then all of a sudden, you see summer of 1778, under the orders of George Washington, Benjamin Talmadge, alias John Bolton, organized the Culper Spy Ring, bringing in late October 1778 during the British surrender. This spy ring helped Washington by altering Washington of surprise attacks. Again, so Benjamin Talmadge, alias John Bolton. And then you hear, it says, Siege of Yorktown in October of 1781, the British forces under the command of H. Clinton, believe it or not, surrendered to George Washington, effectively ending the war and cementing Washington's legacy of commanding, leading, presiding over the free American country. So basically, his decode of all that is basically saying, hey, POTUS is riding out the Durham probe boats, checkmark. John Bolton exposed the leakers for POTUS as in the spy ring. The Nancy ship exploding and taking out the dams, checkmark. And then the last part soon is going to be POTUS cementing legacy by taking out H. Clinton. That's interesting. So that's a kind of another view that he's had for quite a while. I wish I could say I'm making this all up, but it's true. We are reliving the American Revolution. It was April 18th, 1775. That's today, 1775. When two lanterns were lit on the Old North Church, signaling the British were coming by sea. Paul Revere began his midnight ride to alert the Patriot militias. The next day was the official start of the American Revolution. The shot heard around the world. Interesting, huh? Also note that back then, when they were fighting against the crown, Corona, and the king was the King George Soros. So many parallels today. So there's one of these. Isn't that interesting? King George. Additionally, the redcoats were referred to by the Patriots as devils. I know this thread is all over the place, but that's because I needed to make it a new one. Twitter does not notify of anything regarding the original thread. If you want to follow my second American Revolution theory from beginning to end, you can continue here. So there's another, that's an awesome thread. So take some time to do that. I'll have it in the show notes. Again, you'll find those at blessedtoteach.com. And you can just put your email in there, and I will send tomorrow morning. You'll get this, right? Every morning you get the. Sometimes my team doesn't work on the weekend, so you might have to wait till Sunday night when they do it. But pretty cool stuff here, guys. That is Enoch's view of this. Lou actually put a view out that was interesting too. Lou, who's the moderator on this, he says, I believe these three drops are connected. The lanterns are in a cloak watch position 6+. So he's talking about the fact that based on he's looking at the 6+ part of this. Watch what happens next. Set 1, track indictment, 6+. So he's basically looking at the 6 counts of the indictments that are coming. And I think this was also points to the set 1 that we have seen before right here. Right? So remember the set 1? So Lou's thinking that this also points there because of the 6+, etc. So an interesting theory by Lou there. So that it just shows you, I love how we all are thinking for ourselves, trying to decode these and really thinking through what's happening. Here's the big reason why I think this kind of points to Soros. Remember the triangle? Well, look at the name. I tell you, always look at the file names. Look at this. It's just an underscore. So remember, we took out one part of the triangle with Saudi Arabia, and he said basically USA is next. And this has underscore JPEG pointing to Paul Revere. So the battle for America, the America cabal, I believe, starts tomorrow. Something significant is going to be tomorrow. I think it's going to probably be maybe an indictment released on one of the big players, or maybe just a start at some of the indictments. Joe DeGeneva, we talked about that last night on last night's show. So quite exciting. So that's the Q post we have there. I haven't been able to get through any news because we've been doing so much of the Gene stuff. Gene stayed up another 8 hours to cleaning up the decode for the detailed dumbs. He just found some errors in there, and he needed to really make some time on that. So he took the night off. We'll join Gene probably tomorrow. He'll be on at 5 o'clock with me to go over the last part of the U.S. decode of the dumbs, or the underground war, if you will. Now, let's go through some more of the stuff. Here is where this is an awesome retweet here a tweet by Joe Tornabene. And it says, "This is my second tweet of this tremendous Joe diGenova interview. You must listen to this included interview. U.S. Attorney Joe diGenova, Bill Barr, announced there are going to be indictments in Deep State's Crossfire Hurricane sham." So, again, he's pointing John Solomon as well as Joe diGenova are pointing to actual indictments from Durham's criminal investigation, probably coming out next week. That's why I'm just wondering what tomorrow is going to be. But maybe it'll come out a little earlier than we thought. We don't know. But you can go grab that article right here from Gateway Pundit. And there is a video there. It's a kind of a radio interview, so it's not the best. But it is interesting to see what's happening. It says, Comrade Bill de Blasio. And, oh no, I'm sorry. It said, the entire interview is worth your time. It looks like indictments are finally coming, right? The FBI was not only pushing garbage to get the cartridge FISA warrant, they knew they were pushing garbage. The items redacted in the FISA report from the DOJ IG reports are redacted because they implicate foreign governments, which are likely the UK, Italy, Australia, and perhaps others. So we've known that for a while, but now it's finally coming public about what's actually happened. So quite interesting. I'm going to kind of go back up to here. Here is a section of diGenova said early in the interview, Bill Barr announced there are going to be indictments in this case when he went on with Laura Ingram's show the other night and gave an amazing interview for the Attorney General of the United States. He said, yeah, sure, John Durham could write a report, but that's not what he's doing. He's getting ready to bring indictments if he has the evidence, quote unquote. But if he has the evidence is like a passe footnote. What the Attorney General was saying after saying that Crossfire Hurricane was one of the greatest travesties in American history, and that he was deeply disturbed about the evidence that he had seen. I think it's pretty clear that John Brennan, if he doesn't have a lawyer now, then he better get one, because the indictments are coming. So he's calling out John Brennan directly. And so that's another potential. So you can see the first indictment is anybody's guess right now. As we have discussed on this program for a long time, this was never about John Durham writing a report. He can do that if he wants to, but the most important thing is to bring indictments. And the Attorney General just said to us that's exactly what he's doing. So quite interesting on there. So go take a look at that. Here is Inevitable ET back. He says secret military task force prepares to secure Capitol. What? He's saying, holy man, how did we miss this one? So this was back on, I think, the 12th, if you go back, look at this Newsweek article. But it's real interesting. So let me grab this article, and we'll just kind of look at to the first part of it. Let me blow it up so you guys can see it better. Exclusive: as Washington, D.C. faces coronavirus spike, secret military task force prepares to secure the Capitol. District of Columbia Mayor Muriel Brow just yesterday ordered a 1-month extension of the state of emergency as cases in the region grow at a rapid pace. Federal officials in the nation's capital expect a New York-like epidemic in District of Maryland and Virginia, one that could potentially cripple the government. No one wants to talk evacuation, especially when there's nowhere to go, says a senior military official working on continuity of government planning. He requested anonymity because he is not authorized to speak on the record. Will AON reporter ask the question? I hope so, Lou. I sure hope so, Lou. It's kind of cool how every question that she says is like a good reporter question that Trump can actually get the word out about things. She did today too, or at least the ANON reporter there actually asked another solid question. It's not these trap-oriented questions that make the media look like fools. Trump's just scathing them. Here's the exclusive. Dr. Rashid Buttar blasts Gates Fossey, exposes fake pandemic. So here's a whole nother. There's all kinds of ones out here. In fact, my another friend of mine actually sent me a whole nother series. I'll put it in the show notes if I can find it. I was just going to give you the name of it real quick because it's the Corona Chronicles. So search the Corona Chronicles, a 3-part series. I just listened to the first part of part 1. Outstanding. I'm going to try to watch some of that with my wife tonight. So pretty cool stuff. The Corona Chronicles 3-part series. In fact, I'll try to put that right here. If you just go to YouTube, make sure that I get it in the show notes, and you type in the Corona Chronicles. So a friend of mine, let's see here, the Corona Chronicles, Medical J Corona. See if that's it. Hopefully that's it. Page 1, page. Now it looks like I'm gonna have to grab the link from here, and I'll get it there for you. But it is called the Corona Chronicles. There's a 3 on one of them. I'll see if that helps me get it. 1, 2, 3. Sometimes it's kind of cool. It's kind of part of my blessed to teach things. I like to kind of show you guys how I search on things. Like sometimes if you actually put quotes in there, like I did there, and the 3, which is a more unique thing, it might bring it down smaller for you. But it's bringing me to a bunch of lists right now. That stinks. All right, I'll put the actual link for you guys after I find it. But pretty amazing things coming out that are just exciting for me. It's like, wow, that is just awesome that's all happened. Here is this Dinesh. He's awesome. He says, who knew Trump has shown no dictatorial tendencies whatever during this crisis? Contrast this with the behavior of what our little Democratic political pots are doing. Governor Whitmer, Governor Bashar, the Mayor de Blasio. Yeah, and like in Michigan, that's just crazy. Some of the things that's happening there. They're showing their police state love, right? And Drudge Report, please don't go there anymore, guys. We know now, based on Q, that the Drudge actually was sold to a foreign nation, and have a non-disclosure until after the election, the day after the election, right? I gave up on Drudge, a really nice guy, long ago, as have many others. People are dropping off like flies. So instead, you go to the Bongino Report. So this is Dan Bongino does this. It's called, his last name's Bongino, Bongino Report. He's doing a really good job of getting you at least what mainstream articles aren't completely fake, right? Top coronavirus model significantly lowers death forecast. You're not going to hear that anywhere else, right? And they're not using the World Health Organization model anymore, thank goodness. Here's Secretary Pompeo. China not letting scientists into Wuhan lab. Former Treasury Secretary Paul Neal dies at 84. So a lot of just normal news that you would get if you didn't have a fake news. Obviously the whole fake news criminal cabal. Here you got VP Pence says U.S. ready for phase 1. FBI official withheld negative information about Christopher Steele. Roger Stone tells Tucker Carlson his jail term is a death sentence. So interesting what we have here. It's like just amazing what's going on with everything right now. It is very awesome. Huge news. Obama gave level 4 Wuhan lab in China back in 2015 $3.7 million. So Trump said that today. Confirmed by POTUS tonight. Obama the traitor. So there's a link here, and you'll see at 1:17. So if you take this whole thing and you go to 1 hour and 17 minutes, you're going to see Mr. Trump talk about just that. Let's listen.
Hospital, and those numbers are dropping really precipitously. So I think that we're just seeing a lot of good signs. Now, a place like New York, New Jersey, and certain parts of Louisiana. Louisiana has been incredible lately when you look at that drop. That drop has really been great. Michigan's had a hard time, but it's starting to do well. So I just think Illinois is another one. You know, you look at some of the numbers, but everyone is dropping, and they're dropping rather quickly. We don't have any hotspot that's developed where all of a sudden you say, well, other than we did have a meatpacking plant or two where incredibly we had some You saw the number was
Frustrating that they gave me the wrong marker.
$1 billion in a grant. Why would the U.S. give a grant like that to China?
The Obama administration gave them a grant of $3.7 million. I've been hearing about that. And we've instructed that if any grants are going to that area, we're looking at it literally about an hour ago, and also early in the morning. We will end that grant very quickly, but it was granted quite a while ago. They were granted a substantial amount of money. We're going to look at it and take a look, but I understand it was a number of years ago, right?
So you are...
So interesting. And he also called out the $6 billion that's going to for AIDS, which is another one of their foreign aid tricks, and the whole Clinton Foundation / Gates Institute working together in collusion with these illnesses they create and these treatments they have, which are crazy. And what we're finding is that hydroxychloroquine, which is basically oxygenates your blood, just like Gene talks a lot about. And the book the book about hydrogen peroxide does the same thing, called The 1 Minute Cure. Right? We have a link to that backstage, by the way, a link to the MMS. MS is something similar, where it oxygenates your body. And if you have good immune system, you can fight off these viruses easy. You don't have to, just like you don't have a virus, a vaccination that actually cures the common cold, influenza. We just need to have strong immune, not Bill Gates vaccine. Anybody to turn up the volume of the clips? Not really, unfortunately. Yeah, some of them are loud and some of them don't come across real well. So here is hydroxychloroquine, a full information about all the stuff that it helps. And so over the last 60 years, it's helped a ton of stuff, and all this stuff's being hidden. This guy talks about that right now. It didn't take long to figure out that this is where they hide older studies they don't want us to know about. So this whole Google Scholar thing, that's kind of hidden, but he went and dug in and showed how this works extremely well on HIV and other things. They don't want you to know that. This could have helped tons of people versus these watered down drugs that cost us a fortune to help fund other nations. This is part of the whole scheme that the big pharma and the Gates Foundation, everybody has over us. Can you believe Microsoft had Abramovich on a commercial? That got so many downvotes. I showed you guys that. Thank you guys for jumping in there. And got so many downvotes that they took the commercial off. But how stupid can Microsoft be? Just shows you that a lot of these tech companies are really, really horrible. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate it. We are looking at Sun Tzu here. Basically, his son Q Tzu, right? To all my patriot and Christian friends, I just spoke with Mike Smith, and he asked that we all pray hard for his and family. The enemy is not happy at the success of Out of Shadows documentary. So remember, this is the #1 documentary, and they call it the quarantine documentary. It's got massive views. Can you all spread the word to be praying for him and his team? So that Liz Crokin, Mike Smith, others, please pray for them. And again, you want to go to outofshadows.org. There's a lot of people that's suppressing this. Google suppressing it. So is YouTube suppressing it. Just like I couldn't find that one video about because they suppress it. So the reason I couldn't find the Corona Chronicles is because they suppress movies like this, right? But I'm going to give you guys links, so make sure you're on the show notes list so that you will have all these links as well. And if you go here, and you can actually start playing the YouTube video from right here. I like to click on YouTube again, the bottom bar here, and you will actually go to YouTube. I think it's and then you can kind of see how many. It's at 8.3 million views. So let's keep this going. This is a great blue pill oriented movie. Just saying, God, this thing's got 8.3 million views. Check this out and forward it to your friends. I think it's a great red pill method, right? So that is Out of Shadows. You just listened to the Blessed to Teach show. You're now empowered with the truth.